I said earlier, I host this show in conjunction with you, in communion with all of my guests, the TWE tribe, which is the Woman Experience tribe, the Woman Experience community. We do this every Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. UK time, which is currently the same time in Cameroon. And so if you're joining for the first time, please stay. We have loads and loads of stories. This is we're over 40 episodes, so there's lots and lots of interesting and very edifying and very informative conversations that we've had for the past couple of months. They are available on the YouTube page, which is the Goretti Experience, and on the Facebook page, which is also the Goretti Experience. And if you can gladly like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel, it goes a long way to continue to inspire and motivate us to continue to do this good work. So thank you very much. So tonight we're talking about something which is very dear to, I think, all our hearts, isn't it? Relationships. Most importantly, the dynamics of marriage, the institution of marriage. And I am so glad that I was introduced to this wonderful woman. She's, first of all, a beautiful woman, very charismatic, very friendly. She is an entrepreneur and CEO of Wincy Desires, a clothing line known as the African Brand. She is the co-founder and the vice president of Dream Foundation. She's the director of Dream Bookshops. She is a relationship coach and a marriage counselor. She is a wife and a mother to 2 adorable girls. And most of all, she is a pastor, but she's my kind of pastor. You would understand what I mean by my kind of pastor when I say that. And so without further ado, and remember, for those, before I even introduce my beautiful guest for tonight, if this is your first time here, our show is very interactive. The Woman Experience is a very interactive show. We encourage you to leave your comments. If you've got any suggestions, if you've got anything that can contribute to what we're talking at the moment or the general topic for today, please make sure you leave it in the comments. Our comment section is very busy, it's very interactive, and we appreciate every voice. What I try my hardest to do is to bring as many of the questions and comments or suggestions to the stream as possible. But if I miss yours, please don't worry, because you are serving the rest of the community, and we often go back and rewatch and read. And so make sure you are a part of the community today, as because you are our third guest. So you are very important today. So thank you for coming, and don't leave without liking our page or subscribing. So without further ado, join me in welcoming, drum roll, my very beloved pastor, Mrs. Delphine Mah. Hello.
Hi, Goretti.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor, and I'm so thankful to you for accepting our invitation to come up talk about this topic today, marriage and the dynamics of a marriage. We really are grateful for that. I'm sure I am. The whole TWE community and I are grateful to you for being bold enough to come and let's talk. Let's have a frank and open and honest conversation. So thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited to be here with you tonight, Goretti. In fact, you are touching the softest part of my heart with your program. Anything that has to deal with marriage, relationship, touches me in a very special way. So I believe tonight we're going to cruise in a very lovely boat.
Oh, yes. I certainly. I mean, there are many people who are already saying hello. So your guests are watching. If you want to say good evening to your guests before we.
Good evening, everyone that is watching us tonight. It's a wonderful thing to have you guys on board with us this evening. Please do feel free to send your comments, to ask your questions. We are sharing knowledge. We are learning, relearning. I will keep learning.
Learning as well.
Learning, relearning, unlearning.
Yes, we are definitely doing that tonight. So thank you guys. Hi Winnie. Hi Mommy Flo. My mom's watching. Hi Smiles. Fidelia is watching. Clementine, hi. That was our guest of last week. Rosemary is watching. Foinsa says, good evening, watching from Dubai. Foinsa Elvis, thank you. Welcome to the show. Good evening, lovely. Joelle, Eunice, thank you guys so much. And everyone saying good evening to you, Pastor. So, Pastor, let's have this conversation. First of all, what is this thing called marriage?
Yes, correct. That's a very huge question, right? Yeah. So, well, in a very, let me just put it in a nutshell and a very quick and smart way, marriage is God's idea, God's very big idea. And marriage was founded by God, manufactured by God Himself with a manual. So marriage is a divine project. As I was saying, it is a divine project. God founded it, God manufactured it, and it is meant to give honor to the manufacturer. That is a quick thing I can tell you about a marriage, besides the fact that it's a union between a man and a woman.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's a in your not I'm not going to use opinion. So according to you, marriage is
it's God's idea.
It's God's idea for humankind. Okay,
that's right.
God's idea for humankind, and in normal parlance, is what a formal or union between a man and a woman. Those who are watching, and because I don't think that we get the chance to ask ourselves this question that often. What is marriage to you who is watching? What's your idea of marriage? What's your definition of marriage? If you're married, what does it mean to you? If you're yet to be married, what do you think it is? And if you are post-marriage, what was it for you during the time that you were there? Because I think that when we get the definitions, because a lot of us get into marriage not really understanding what marriage is.
That's right.
It's just the very next step as a female or as a male. That's what's expected of you culturally. So even
that's right.
Exactly. So I want your definition of marriage. So this is to the guests. I want their definition of marriage. They said leave that in the comments, so that maybe we begin to again learn from each other. So marriage, first of all, let's get a bit to you. How did you become? What led you to become a marriage counselor?
Yeah. So this is my story. When I got married at a mature age. I was 28 when I met my husband.
Okay.
You know, of course, there are surely young ladies out there watching, and some of them are feeling maybe they are old to get married, and so on and so forth. At 28, I was able to judge rightly. I was able to understand the values I wanted from a man that I wanted to marry. And so at 28, when I met my husband, I just knew at once that this was a marriable material. This is the type of man I would love to live with. This is a man I would love to lead me as a husband. And so at that time when I got married, now understanding myself, first of all, well, and the things I wanted to do in life, it was easy for me to flow with him. And so it's been a sweet and interesting journey for me, not without hurdles, obviously, but then it was easy for me to deal with the hurdles, with the hitches, whatever thing came up. It was easy because of my level of maturity. And I would like to say here that maturity is not about age. It's about, your responsibility. It's about what you can understand and what you can deal with. And so now I could understand something. Before then, by the time I finished secondary school, some men were coming up for marriage, but I wasn't prepared.
Because I was thinking that at 28 is considered old. Yes. You know, like in your time, yes.
Yes, in my time, it was because most of my age mates, my friends, my classmates, they were married. Most of my friends were married.
Yeah.
And so the people that came around before now, I really they didn't click me somehow. I had my personal ambitions. I had things I wanted to, accomplish in life, and I didn't see them like the people that were going to help me achieve my dreams. And so when I know,
no, sorry, let me quickly interrupt there. You see, you're saying this, and literally my mind is going like, how did you know back then what you wanted? How were you not pressured by society and what everyone said? Like, what kind of young girl were you that you marched to the beat of your own drum? Because I know how much pressure we face when we are past 21 to get married.
That's very correct. That's very right. But one of the things that kept me going was the fact that I was too busy on what I wanted to do, like what I wanted to become, more than I wanted to get married. And I knew to myself that I didn't want to marry wrong. That was one of the things I told myself. I said, I don't want to marry wrong. I better marry late than marry wrong.
Wow.
You know, so that kept me going. And I decided to, you know, so when I met a man who had a vision, not because he had anything per se material, at the time I met him, I could see his seriousness, I could see his dreams, I could see his visions. And so when I saw a man that was thinking the way I would think as well, I thought that, okay, I think if I make a decision right now, I had waited. But now I didn't wait like that to just enter the arms of one established man, one man that was a bourgeoisie, as we call them these days, that had everything. No, when I met him, we were all beginners. We have all just left university. I finished university. I was doing my little businesses around selling. And, you know, my mom used to give us tea, and I'll go around selling my teas. And that occupied me, and I was doing what I could to make my own money, save my own money. I was looking at what I wanted to do with my life until I met a man who could match up with what I wanted to do in life. And so we could flow together. It was easier for us to flow because I had to wait for a while.
It was easier for you to flow because you knew what you wanted. Because, like what Terry is saying, and I agree, 28 and single in 2008 was considered an endangered species. So I can't even imagine what year it was for you to be. So I asked the definition of marriage, and Eunice says marriage is a friendship between two people who understand each other. Rach says marriage is one individual realizing the need to share life's journey with another, deciding to fall in love, adopt their partner's own lifestyle, and finding a seamless way to incorporate both values into the new life together in the name of marriage. And Mami Flaw says, marriage is a union between two friends who understand each other and who love deeply. I like that people are using the word friendship a lot.
Friendship.
The definition of marriages. You understand? And hello, all those who are joining now. Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining. So I like that we have gotten to an understanding, because when we were talking, you and I talked a lot about the importance of a friendship in marriage. So if there is that wonderful understanding, so far it is great. But going back to you, so you found the man that you knew that was going to walk the journey the way you wanted your journey walked, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
But we are told a lot of the times that marriage is compromise, and marriage is understanding, and marriage is basically submission, especially on the part of the woman. So in your instance, and generally, how were you able to navigate the compromise that was needed? Because at 28, you knew what you wanted.
That's right. You know, being outside when you are not yet in the marriage.
Yeah.
You have your deal the way you want it. You have your values.
Yes.
When you start talking about compromise, patience, endurance, all those things, let me tell you, those things come in now when you are inside already.
Right.
While you are outside there, you have the wide choice. You have the time to choose what you want. You have to make the game work for you the way you want. Let the deal work for you the way you want it. Because now you are out. That's why I tell singles, don't lower your value. Don't bring down your standards. a value list that you have for yourself as a single. There is something you want in a man, and you need to have at least 75% of what you are looking for. That is why you talk about compromise now, because you might not have it 100%.
Yeah.
You might not have 100%, but do you have the essential things? Do you have what is most important to you? And every list you have, there must be some priorities on your list. You know, I tell the youths of today, I tell singles, make sure you create a value list for yourself so that you don't just get into any type of relationship. I have turned down relationships because they didn't meet on what I wanted.
Yeah.
And when I met the one that clicked, I didn't even talk. We became friends. We're such friends till today. We are still friends. We do stupid things together. We do all the funny things together because we are friends. You know.
Okay. So let's go back to that value list, because guys, just be patient, because we have to really go deep into this marriage thing and save each other. So for the young girl who is watching now, let me phrase it differently. What would you say to those people, to those girls whom material wealth is really important to them? And what would you say to those people who continuously, you see all the time on social media, people are saying, don't marry a man because women keep wanting ready-made men. What's wrong in a girl having that as a standard for the kind of man that she wants to marry?
Okay. Now, what is important about a man is not what a man drives, for instance, is what drives the man. So the man might have material wealth now, as well as he might not have it. Yeah. But your thing is not about what he has, but it's about what he drives. I used to tell singles, I say, don't look at the size of a man's television. Look, check the size of his vision. Does he have a vision? Where is he going to? You know, what is his program? What is his plan? Because a lot of singles today, they check about superficial things that don't last. You know, you are looking for a lasting thing. You can't go checking a man from his biceps. Check his concept. It's more important than there are ladies that say a six-pack,
dark chocolate,
tall, black, and handsome, black man wisdom. You know, there comes a time you're not going to have all of that. You're not going to have six-pack, but you need something beyond the looks. You need something beyond material, because a man can have all the material, but if he's lacking in character, I'm telling you, have you ever seen where honey is bitter?
Oh yes.
It becomes
yes.
That money can become like a bee. It can sting.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we shouldn't focus on superficial, on outward, on physical things that don't last. We need to focus on things that will last. They are more important than things that, you know, may fade away with time. It's a two-way thing, because there are guys today who are out there looking for any shiny yellow, for any girl with big butts, for any all those physical looks that will ruin you in the future if you fail to check the attitude, the character. If you fail to put up other important values. There are other values to check in a lady or in a guy that you want to go in for, especially when it comes to marriage. You know, there are guys that will jump around with every lady in the quarter, but when they want to get married, they are looking for the decent one. The question is, who made the other ones undecent?
Thank you. Good question. Good question. The value list should be a realistic one, though. Yeah, and I think that's what you're saying. Naomi says marriage is when, her definition of marriage is when two individuals keep their egos and take each other as family, knowing that whatever they do to another will always have a ripple effect on both. These are really, really brilliant definitions. I really like them. Yeah. So don't check his biceps, check his concept. I love that. I'm going to take that to be advising my young
check it. And I want to add this to the ladies that think that material is a criteria or priority to them. Let me tell you something. You don't have to be a gold digger. You can be a gold carrier yourself. You need your own. When you have what belongs to you, first of all, it builds your esteem. It puts you on an edge. It's difficult for you to get in an abusive marriage if you are financially okay. But if you have to depend only on a man for every little thing, I'm telling you, those are the type of ladies, they call them gold diggers. Look at Queen Sheba when she went to visit King Solomon. She carried, the Bible said, she carried gold. She carried so much on her. That was hers, and that dignified her. That gave her honor. And so, ladies, we need to work for our own self-honor before you are attached or before you attach yourself to any man. Make sure you.
But let me play devil advocate. One of the men who want women who will come home and be homemakers and want to provide for them for the woman. Shouldn't what's wrong? Is that wrong or should
no, that should be now a mutual. This is very, very, very personal. Mutual in the sense that what do the two of you agree on that? Is it a mutual agreement? Because these are things that you discuss at the beginning. Because if you meet a lady that has a career and she wants to pursue her career, you can't just swallow up her dream because you want her to be a homemaker. Now, unless she agrees to be a homemaker, because homemaking is also a prestigious job. It is prestigious, but it depends if the person is happy doing it. I'm a very happy homemaker. Every other thing comes after homemaking to me. And so I'm not even discouraging that. I'm not even canceling that. But do you guys, do both of you agree?
Agree. Yeah. You have to both agree. I agree with you on that as well. Eunice likes that you can carry your own gold. I love that. Bimoma says, in this life, nothing lasts forever. I respect dreams, etc. But the most important quality is someone who is kind, patient, and forgiving. Marriage is a complex institution to have prescriptive view on. Look at the heart of the person and the rest shall follow. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you as well. But like every other thing, there are some rules and there are some guidelines to it.
Right.
Even though humans are humans and unpredictable. So so I hear you. As long as when it comes to you coming, so I think from what you've said, it's marriage, isn't it? You guys have a conversation and decide on what you want. Young girls, especially young girls who are yet to be married, if you're watching this, please, it is serious. If somebody is coming, if you're looking for a man to marry, look for a man, like Pastor has said, who literally fits, not who
That's
you can manage, not whom you can, who actually fits.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. And I always tell them, this is what I tell young ladies. I say, don't marry a prayer point, marry a prayer partner. Your answer, you have the choice.
Yeah.
You don't start choosing a prayer point. So are you going to spend your whole life praying for a man to change? When are you now going to enjoy the marriage? Marry a prayer partner. Look for a prayer partner and marry.
Preach.
When I'm sick, my husband prays for me. When he is down, I pray for him. We pray together. So we are prayer partners, and that makes it work for us. It makes it easy for us.
And if you're an unbeliever, and if you're an unbeliever, what advice would you?
If you are an unbeliever, I began by saying that marriage is God's idea. That's why I began with this. It is God's idea. It will be difficult for you to really run a successful marriage outside God. And God is a God of principles. It's just like the manufacturer of a television or a telephone fixes it and puts in a manual on how to use the phone or the television. Now you drop the manual and you decide to, maybe it's a waterproof or it's not a waterproof, and you get your phone into a bucket of water, you damage it. And that is the same thing that happens to marriages. If you don't follow the manual, if you don't use it to honor God, I'm advising people, you know what? There are situations, there are complications in human beings that it will take only God. If you want to do it by yourself, you're going to be going a very long way. You're going to be struggling a lot because there are some things you really can't explain. Nobody can tell you everything about a human being. Human being is so complex. Only the Creator knows everything about a human being, even things that we don't understand. It will take God to help you, understand. However, there are principles that you can follow for your marriage to help you stand. But just know that amongst these principles, number one is your connectivity to the Creator, the one that created, that invented marriage. So once you are connected to it, the rest of the things you will struggle to do, you will do them it will be easier for you to do.
Okay.
You know.
So I hear you. So now we have spoken to the singles. They are married, isn't it? They have found the partner that they love, and they are hopefully, they have taken your advice and they are moving us. Now let's come to those of us who are in it. And
Yes.
I'm talking people who have been in more than 5 years, 5 years and counting, right? And above. So let me paint a scenario for you. We are in the marriage 5 years and above. Maybe there's a child or two, and you're at that point where you're thinking, wait, hold on a minute. Did I make a mistake? This is not the guy I met 5 years ago. This is not the guy who swept me off my feet. Should I be considering breaking this thing at this point due to one problem or the other? What advice do you have to people who find themselves at that point now? So between 5 years to 15 years in marriage.
Okay, great. This is 23 years running. I've been in my own marriage. I've been counseling women. I've been counseling couples. I've spoken with a lot of people, so many people on relationship issues, especially marital issues. And I have just 4 tips I want to share with us tonight that can help somebody work on their marriage. And the first tip I said is love. And we have all defined from the definitions that we heard about marriage around other people giving. It's centered around love. It is centered around. So love is an unconditional commitment to protecting another person's heart with the same passion which you see and guard your own heart.
Right.
It's a commitment. And love is not just a strong feeling. Love is a decision. Love is a promise. When people make promises, you want to keep the promise. There's a difference between interest and commitment. For interest, when you are interested in something, you do it only when it is convenient. But when you are committed to something, there are no excuses. What you are looking for is results because you are committed. So you see it as a commitment. Love is a commitment. If you are in a marriage, you must be committed to that marriage. Be committed to make it work. Put in the efforts together. It's not a one person's effort anyway, but then put in your own efforts to make that commitment work. It's not just about I don't want to feel anything for him. Look for what to feel about him. Look for what to feel. Now you ask this. How do you build love?
Your audio, I would just want to ask guys, the audio, is the audio clear enough? Because for me it's breaking up, so I just want to know that it's fine for others. Can somebody let me know in the comment section if the audio is clear enough, because it was breaking for me. Okay, then carry on. No one's saying anything yet.
Okay, so can we go ahead?
Yeah,
I just hope it's okay. I hope they can hear us.
Yeah. Do you have two devices switched on?
Switched on?
Yeah, like is your phone? Is the phone playing the same video we're watching?
No.
Okay, they say it's okay. Then it's fine. It's just me. Then it's fine. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about how you can build love.
Yeah.
Marriage.
Yeah. I want to do that.
Now this is it. You are committed already. You are inside it, and you must try to make it work. You must do everything you can in your own ability to make sure it works. Now, to build,
Pastor,
can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you are saying that you must do everything to your ability to make it work, even if you're being abused.
We're not yet there. We're not coming. They're coming.
No, disclaimer clear now, because something horrible has happened again recently. So let's make that disclaimer clear from the start.
No, we'll arrive there. Let's go gradually. Now, this is it. If you're in a marriage and somehow it's shaky, it's just, issues are in different degrees. The problems, challenges are in different degrees. You can't rate every challenge at the same point. So I was saying that you put in efforts to make sure it works. And how do you put in efforts to make sure that it works? Because I was talking about love, being a commitment. What you do with somebody you love is Focus on the strengths of the person. No matter how bad the person is, hmm, there will be something good about that person, even if it is one thing. The person does 10 things and 9 of them are bad. 9 maybe, but there will be one good thing that he's doing.
Yeah.
There's the ability that when what you dwell on much or more grows, it multiplies, it increases.
Yeah.
And so now instead of picking on the 9 negative ones, you can spend your energy talking about the one positive one. I mean, pick on it, talk about it, keep saying it. I told a lady sometimes ago, I said, okay, if he did something good today and in the next 2 weeks he didn't do anything good, go back to the one he did last 2 weeks ago and remind the person, like, okay, you see, this thing you did was so nice to me. I'm so go and appreciate it again. Say thank you for this wonderful thing. As you keep appreciating, there's a tendency that when you appreciate people, they perform better.
Yes.
And when they are performing poorly, it's not because they don't know that they are doing wrong. They know most of the time. Sometimes they just can't control themselves. But then when you are there, especially in the case where it is a lady that has to walk towards it, the lady, you are in the life of this man as a helper, by the way. So you got to do what you can do to help you be a better man. When you get into the man's life, they should know that somebody got in there. The way I met my husband 23 years ago is not the same person. When you see him today, man, it's not the same guy. I used to tell him, please not checking your shirt because the waist was too slim. He was thin, tiny. Now, we've gone together, we've worked things together, a lot of things together, and his life is not the same. He's grown in in his career. He has grown very well in his career because my contributions have been at work as well.
Yeah.
When you don't help them, they can't excel out there. I tell people the home and the foundation of the home is the marriage. A home that is not doing well will reflect in the job. It will reflect at the business. It will reflect in any other thing you are doing. So it is important to help them succeed. Pick on those things and ignore not really like ignore, but downplay the weaknesses. Work more with the strength. Now, coming back to your question, where you try to, like I said, challenges are in different degrees. There are those that you can fix, you can amend, so long as it is not a threat to your life. It is God, like I said, that created marriage. But before God created marriage, He gave life first. The first thing He gave was life. Marriage came after. And so life to God is number one. And then marriage follows.
Yeah.
God would love to see you alive, not dead.
Yeah, true.
God prefers a living you than the dead you. Are you understand? And so there are situations that people go through. I want to handle these problematics that people go through. And they're at the point of maybe, shall I quit? What do I do? Like I said, first of all, it is important to recognize there's a problem. I'll give you tips to getting yourself out of a situation. First of all, once you recognize there's a problem, it is one step to solving it. Now, when you recognize the problem, you reach out for help. Many people have liked the problem because now they saw that there was a problem, but they couldn't reach out or they refused to reach out. They were not seeking for help. Knowing that there's a problem is one thing, but seeking help is another very most important. Seek for help. Look for a counselor. You have a pastor, check your pastor. You have a mother, maybe talk to your mother or talk to some elderly person that you know that is not going to use your problem to mess you up, but will help you out of that problem or guide you, help you how to go about it. Now, when you are able to reach out, the next thing is to take responsibility. Like I said, the problem might not be your fault, the trauma might not be your fault, but the is your responsibility. It is your responsibility to make sure that you get healed, you get out of this situation. You are doing everything possible. You can't delegate your healing to any other person. You must do the work. You must do the work. Even in the Bible, when God was giving manna, the people had to step out, pick the manna, and they had to pick, but every day they were picking.
Yeah.
You know, a net quantity that will last only for a day. So there is your own part of it. There's something you must do. You must take responsibility. And after that, the next thing you should be doing with yourself is release yourself. Forgive yourself. Release. Like, forgive yourself.
Okay.
Start with yourself. Forgive yourself. And forgive the, you know, the person or the people that, you know, that wrongs you. You know, your old self should be having a conversation with your new self about, you know, forgiveness.
Yeah.
Forgive. You gotta let go. Because when you carry too much baggage on you, it's difficult for you to even move ahead. It's difficult for you to even see the next good thing that God wants to do for you. Some things might have happened that were really bad. But it's not going to end there. There are good things ahead. The fact that you met, you know, a difficulty today doesn't mean tomorrow sun is.
Did I tell you guys that she's joining us from Yaoundé? So that was, oh my gosh. So that was Mrs. Fogwe, and she's joining us from Yaoundé, and she is a marriage counselor. So good evening again for those who are joining. Today we're talking about marriage dynamics and yeah, everything marriage. So hopefully she comes back, but in the meantime, while waiting for her to reconnect, I am going to read some of your contributions so far. So Eunice said, oh, she's back. Hi.
I landed back. I landed back.
I think we're getting kind of used to it on this show. Don't worry. Someday we'll have a proper studio, and then we will have internet connection problems.
You know.
Yeah. So
thank you, but this has been going well.
No, pick up where you left. I think it should be fine.
Yeah. So what I was saying, I was concluding with a healing process. It's a process to healing.
Yeah.
And I was saying, you know, to conclude with a healing process, you must forgive whoever wronged you. You yourself, you deserve forgiveness, and those that wronged you, you know, they need your forgiveness. There is no condition. Don't place any condition whether they apologize or not. Forgive. You know. So that's what I was saying about healing. Now, if you want to go to the next, maybe another tip, because we're talking about love, and we just have to talk. You know, you brought in a question about, you know, we are inside this matter, and things might not be going the way we really want them to go.
Yeah.
So that's.
I wanted to read a few contributions so far, so that it also helps. So Eunice was saying what you said, at every point in life, our prayer points change. So prayer partner, not prayer point. Angel, I get a lot of, there's all static that I can hear. Marriage 101, check their values before you marry them. A man with role models, dad, uncle, who are all irresponsible, mean, and those men raised him, run.
That's right.
So
that's right.
And she goes on to say, if you decide rightly, the path will be smoother. If you make a mistake, you will pray for long.
Pray for long. And I will say, better wait long than marry wrong.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And I will agree with the host. There is no blueprint to this journey unless you find that woman who is humble enough to sink with you. So Das Abiro says, we hear all the time, love, 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 love. What is the blueprint to quench?
We hear all the time, love, love, love.
Yeah. So what is the blueprint to quench the thirst of this word, love? Is it according to the Bible or the standards set by man? What do you think?
Both of them work. You can set your own standard, but the Bible gives more power. Like I said, the Spirit gives power to the physical. You know, and so when you are backed by God, you can come up with your own what love means to you. What love means to you might not mean the same to every other person. It might not be the same to another person. People manifest love in different ways. Yeah. And then I always tell people, you know what? People learn, they study everything, every other thing in life. They study very well to be specialized in one thing or the other, study for their careers. But nobody really, I mean, not too many people take time to study marriage before getting into it. Whereas this is is the most important part of it. You will see people focusing so much about the wedding. Wedding is a ceremony. They will do months. I remember when I was doing my wedding, 6 months to the day, what I should have been doing. 3 months to the day, what I wanted to do. 1 month to the day. This is about wedding. We put so much, into the paparazzi of marriage than the marriage itself. People will prepare for weddings and choose colors and choose things and do all the energy exerted on weddings. If we could just put half of that to study what marriage is all about, study the opposite person. If you are a woman, study the man. How do men behave? So that you don't meet everything like a shock in your marriage. You don't meet, because many women have gotten into marriages and have found themselves, in real what they call shock, because they just thought it was just that sweet, sweet bed of roses they were seeing out there. But when you study marriage before even getting into it, you understand that a man will always be a man in his ways. A man, when they call ego on the positive side, is not always bad, because a man without an ego will probably be a woman. A man needs his ego. It's a man. He's the head of the family and has to be that. You can't fight that. You can't even deny that. And so when you understand what a man needs, the needs of a man are different from the needs of a woman. For real. When a woman talks about love, there is something she wants, which is different from what a man wants, for instance. When a man is in love, there's a way he manifests his own love. He may not be talking too much. But if a man studies about a woman, he will understand that a woman wants to hear what you are saying. What are you saying? Say something. Those sweet things. We love to hear that. That is what love means to a woman. And so when a man embarks on studying the opposite gender, he will know how to be to her. You will do some things for her sake. Remember, it's a commitment. It's not a selfish thing. It's not just about you. It's about trying to make the other person as happy as you are, as secure as you are, And so when the woman too understands a man, she would not know how to serve love to the man. To serve love to a man is not nagging or nagging after him all the time. You will understand that a man has his focus on work. And so if you need his attention for love, you must go around anything that concerns his work. Man is meant to work. Man was made, and the first thing that man saw was work. First assignment that God gave man was work. When man got up, he saw work, and God was like, look after his garden, work till it. And so man has been working, and man is used to working, and man loves work. Man is attached to his work. Now, if you don't know that, you would think a man doesn't love you. All that work he's working in his mind, it is to make you comfortable as well. It is to make sure that his family is established. It is to make sure that the family is okay in every sense of the word. So when it comes to, maybe financial, anything that concerns the family financially, the man wants to be in charge. He wants to be in charge. So in such moments, when you have an understanding and you know that they are connected to the work, you don't make it you don't make a fuss out of it. You don't make it a problem.
Okay. So I hear this bit about, so in conclusion, what would you say are the because we were talking earlier about those of us who find ourselves in marriages where we're thinking of throwing in the towel because we're thinking we've had enough. So let me talk about, I think to make it more relatable, let me break it down to scenarios, right? So we are, and I'm going to address those of us in the West, because I think I can speak more authoritatively on relationships in the West that I have been privy to be a part of. So what would you say to a woman or to a marriage right now that is suffering from, because in the West, our marriages have completely changed. The way we saw our parents' marriages, it is in, I can say at least 70 to 80% of the homes out here in the West, it is not the same. We have not succeeded to replicate it. And just because, like Das Abiru says here, the world in the West, the world is structured in such a way that we've coined the term 50-50. You understand? Which is not because we want it to be 50-50, but it is just the conditions that we have met. You know, in a lot of, when we were growing up, our parents had the privilege of being the true heads, kings, masters of our homes. You understand? And our mothers were able to give them that respect and everything that comes with their authority, because it was a different community, a completely different society. And in addition to that, our most importantly, in my opinion, there was a lot of affordable help within the households. You understand?
That's right.
So we were able to, our mothers had the opportunity to, you know, cook for the man, treat him like a king, do all those things that we cannot even do here most of the times. Because sometimes in some households, you're coming in, I'm going out. You understand? The children are at the child minders or in child care, and we don't have the opportunity to accord these men this same reverence. It really is that reverence. We don't have the opportunity to accord them this same reverence that our parents, our mothers were able to give our men. But these men have come from a home in Cameroon where that is what they expected in a marriage, right? And that is not their reality. And I think that for most of us, that's where our problems start.
Yeah, I get you.
You know,
I get your point.
Yes.
I get your point.
So what advice in this kind of scenarios would you advise a couple that feel like they are struggling and, you know, it's not working because of those dynamics?
That's right, Goretti. You know, a human being is adaptable. The way a human being is created is adaptable. And now we're just talking about love being a commitment. And some of those things I'm not sure we mentioned it yet about marriage is this friendship affair, you know. Yeah. Now, if you were born and bred in Africa and you now find yourself in the western part of the world where you both have to put in as in working, you know, bringing money to the family, raising the children, two of you just by yourselves. Yeah. It is time to adapt to a system because you've chosen to live there. Yeah. If you look at the people, the founders of that system, how do they live? You realize that the man has to fit in and do some growth. So it's not like, okay, only the woman has to look after the kids or only the lady has to cook. No, you both agree on the type of jobs you guys are taking, by the way. And so if you both are on a job and you love your partner, do you really want to see her burn out and die? Do you love her for real? Or do you love him for real? Because this is a two-way thing. There are times that sometimes it's the lady that is unreasonable. Sometimes it's the guy that is unreasonable. We need to adapt to our environments. In Africa, it's easy because you can pay for, sometimes you pay for help. You have people that can assist you at home. Sometimes it's just relatives. Even if you're not paying, there are some relatives that you can have them around and you can assist in one way or the other. But, you know, looking at the European setting, it would be unreasonable to say to fold arms and sit. You both go to work, you both come back at the same time. It is true. But when there is friendship in this matter, we are discussing and doing the thing. We all jump into the kitchen. Hi, well, this is it, man. What are we eating? You know, how can we do? Well, somebody's changing diaper, or maybe somebody's pampering the baby. Somebody has to jump quickly into the kitchen and eat, you know, or prepare food for the rest of the family to eat. So you're not going to wait that, okay, the lady should go change diapers, pamper the baby, put the baby to sleep, come now, cook for you before you eat. I mean, let's be real. This is just natural life. We're not going to start giving some principles according to some philosophers. This is life we are living right here now. This is life. So let's look at it practically. Is it practical? Is it okay for you to let your wife do everything by herself and still goes to work and still, you know, fetch the money, and you are all contributing to pay the bills and so on and so forth, you know? So I think we just need to learn how to adapt to our environment. Let us learn to adapt. Adaptability is very important. A human being is made to be dynamic by nature. when you see where to fit in. You don't need to be told that, okay, hey, you cook now for the lady. You don't even need to get up and, hey, you have to cook. Today is your day to cook. As you guys are watching yourself, the day is going.
Yeah.
Fit into the role. Mature people. That's why marriage is for mature people. It's not for babies.
It's not.
There are some things that out of maturity, you just know what to do. You don't need to be too, hey, bro, while you get the dishes done and so on, you know, and you start fighting from on trivial things. And I think we just need to adapt to the system and forget those old ways. It's true when we're growing up that our parents most of the time didn't involve the guys in the kitchen. But now in the Western world, you need to get yourself involved in the kitchen. What are you going to do? Are you going to die of hunger? Look at the case where, okay, you travel abroad as a guy, you are not yet married. Don't you cook for yourself? Don't you make sure you have food? Do you die of hunger? No. So why now, when you're married, it's true the woman is there to help you, but not to be a slave.
Yeah.
She's there to help, and she's your helper. Don't kill your helper. Don't break your helper, because you will need her.
Don't kill your helper. It goes both ways. It goes both ways.
Both ways. That's right.
Yes, it goes both ways for us in the world. Oh my, it's a lot of stuff. Noise.
Noise?
Yes, it's everyone hear that because it's quite loud at my end. I hope if anyone can hear all of that static, please let me know. There's a lot of noise, but when you speak. But anyway, I hope it's not as bad. So I want to read some of the comments before I go to the next scenario.
Okay.
Elliot says there's more to this other than equality. There's the issue of power and possessiveness. And I think you should talk a bit about that.
Power and possessiveness on the side of the men, right?
Yeah.
On the side of the men. I've said
both. I think
both sides.
Yeah, let's talk to both.
What is power and possessiveness? You know, well, if I do understand him very well, we own each other. You're my husband, I'm your wife, you know. So who's possessing who? And then everybody has power at their own level. There are things that a woman really has power to do for him. She will just do them. She has power to just handle some things. Like we are saying that a man can assist in the kitchen. We're not saying that men should become cooks now. But when you meet a woman in the kitchen, you will see that the way she handles the kitchen with so much, it's easier for her. And so some of the chores, the lady can just fit in and also do what she knows that she can do well. And the man will help in her. That sometimes the help is being just nice talking. The way you talk to somebody can give the person energy. Because sometimes a woman will exhaust herself, and then later on, what you are receiving is, just some words that are not even encouraging. They can break your energy. They can even keep the way you help, the way you assist most of the time. It's not even by washing dishes, cleaning the kitchen, or cooking. You can just do some other nice stuff. Do what you are good at. Maybe look after the kids. Maybe be with the kids and make sure they go to just something. You know, everyone has. It's a balanced kind of thing, because it's a friendship. When we talk of friendship, it's not a boss and a subordinate in the office. You know, it's true. The man is the head. The man is a covering, and the woman too knows her own, position, knows what to do. That's why women love to marry, because they are relationship oriented from creation.
Yeah, we are.
That's the way they are made. They are made to build relationships, because when Eve woke up, she saw a man by her side. That was the first thing she saw. She saw a relationship. And so women are more relational. They can relate. They can, handle even like family matters. Women know how to deal with those things sometimes. And so people fit in their roles.
People fit in their roles. Tessie, I want to hear the other I advise that you have, because I think it doesn't always work like that in the ideal world, unfortunately. So how does it work, Tessie? I want to hear that. B Moma is asking, what is love? This word is used carelessly sometimes, and I know, and I like the way until you have defined love. Love is commitment, and
that's right.
Love is commitment, and love is patient, love is kind, but most importantly,
of course,
easily, there are so many adjectives that describe love.
Love goes with sacrifice.
Hey,
Love goes with sacrifice.
And you see, that particular definition of love, I don't want to hear it, just because it's being used to manipulate a lot of women, especially
Yeah,
abusive relationships. You hear, well, it's your marriage, you have to sacrifice. If you love him, you have to sacrifice. It's become to me a very that particular phrase, love is sacrifice. I don't like it.
it's not a one-sided thing. It's a thing between two people.
Yeah.
Are you understanding? It's not one person's effort. If you sacrifice for love, I should be able to sacrifice too for love. The man sacrifices, the woman sacrifices, because you can't talk about love without sacrifice. The very first man that ever sacrificed because of love, Jesus Christ. He sacrificed, for God so loved that he sacrificed his son. So when you talk about love, you can't separate sacrifice from love. But now it's not about the abuse, by the way. And then secondly, it's not a one person that has to sacrifice, it's a two-way thing. The man has something that he's losing, he's giving up for his lady, and the lady has something she's giving up for her man. So it's not a, that's why I say you cannot just define love. Is not just one word. Love means many things to different people. Many things to different people.
Casey says the fact that Shanti says lack of understanding and unrealistic expectations hurt marriages in the West. That is so true. The fact that the man is the head of the house does not mean he's the oppressor and the wife is some subordinate. Men need to realize that head is more than being served, but using that head to ensure they take the right actions in directing the relationship through the right path, whatever the actions may be. Clementine Loveline says, communication is the key, and sometimes both of you working together, like in the kitchen, etc., helps bring you closer. Which brings me to something that we didn't spell out clearly. You and I talked about what to you is the foundation of a good marriage, and can that foundation be rebuilt if it's cracking in an already existing marriage?
That's right. Yes, it's possible. Like I was saying, I didn't even finish what the tips I was giving us, and communication was going to be part of it. It was going to be part of those tips. I already talked about love, which we've said so much about it. I talked about communication. Yeah. It is very, very important to communicate. Communicate how you feel with your partner. It is important to let your partner know how you feel. And you communicate in a very nice way. Feelings towards each other. Feelings towards one another. And in all of this, it's difficult to communicate where there is no friendship. Yes. That's why you must build a friendship in that marriage. Yes. You must build friendship so that you can feel free to communicate. You can feel free to talk with your friend on just any topic. I mean, not scared of anything. You talk about it. Intimacy, you talk about it. As a couple, speak about the things that matter to you, the things that you really need. You must talk about them. Some things that might have gone around, maybe the home, maybe with others, maybe with your family, or about yourselves. You need to communication is very important. You need to talk about it, express yourself. Most of the time, many women, they sit quiet with their issues, assuming, and assumptions have killed many marriages. You sit quiet, you don't communicate, you don't tell the guy what you feel, what is going on, and how you feel about what is happening, so that you can even understand him more. You just go assuming he has behaved this way, probably because, why did he come late? You don't ask him, well, but honey, you're a little late today, what happened? You just go like, okay, you have come late, probably you went to see another lady. Assumptions, and assumptions have killed. That's why communication is very, very important, because when you talk with him, it's a two-way thing. He will be able to let you understand what happened, where he was, what he was doing. Check about his day. How did your day go? You'll be speaking and speaking to, how about this, how about that? Talk about his work. Communicate on everything. Because when you two of you, and then the guy too must be able to come and talk with your wife, man. The women love to hear. They want to hear you talk. Tell them something. What is the next dream? What is the next vision? What is the next project you are up to? Men are usually very project driven. Talk your project to your wife, because when you can go on doing your things silently, you also, you communicate wrongly. There is wrong communication as well. So make sure you communicate and communicate rightly. What are your dreams? What are your projects? What are the things you are doing? What is it you are feeling about? It might just be any other thing. It might not be about you or her. Communicate. Talk quite often. Because when you guys talk in the bath, we talk everywhere. My case, we are always conversing. We spend time talking. We spend time talking about us.
I agree with you 100% on communicating. But what do you, and I think I asked what the foundations of marriage, and Clementine says understanding, communication, compromise, and forgiveness.
That's right. I was going to, forgiveness was the last point I had, because I had 4 tips I was talking about, and forgiveness is just one of them.
Yeah,
you see, you have smart people out there.
Yes.
You have very smart, sharp people. It's very important. I already talked about it while I was talking about something else. We mentioned forgiveness. It's important, to forgive each other. Don't hold them for their little fault. Or I always say, never leave a true relationship for a few faults. People drop out of relationships because of small errors. Nobody is perfect.
Okay.
In the end of the day, affection is better than perfection. Nobody is perfect.
Okay. I think I agree with you very much about forgiveness, because I've seen so many situations where you're living with a man and unaware that he carries such resentment for you in his heart. That again, communication comes into play. If you could have just spoken about it, it would have helped. Now, guys, this last part of the conversation, I want us to ask scenario-based questions, because we have the privilege of talking to a marriage counselor. So I want us to ask a lot of scenario-based questions and get advice on that. It doesn't have to be yours. It could be something that a friend is facing. It could be something that you witnessed in your parents' marriage or someone else's marriage, or it could be let's ask scenario-based questions, so that we can, if people can relate to that, or even at least extrapolate that to their own personal circumstances, then they can find answers. Because so far we've been giving general advice. Pastor has been giving general advice, but if we can try and specify it, I think it will go a long way. I like what Shanti said here. She says, support your spouse in tangible ways, not just words. If they are working on a project, get actively involved. Be resourceful. Be an asset in your home.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a good one, because I was saying that women, we shouldn't just be gold diggers looking for where to go and suck, looking for who will give us money. Yeah. Carry your own gold. I'll say that again, and I will keep saying it over and over. And there's this woman in the Bible, the Mark 14 woman. Bible says when this woman got in, Jesus was seated there. She broke the alabaster box and poured it at the feet of Jesus. This perfume was so costly that when she spreaded it there, even the disciples were angry with her for pouring that perfume, but it was her perfume, and so she could do with it as she wanted. The Bible says the fragrance filled the whole room. I'm telling you, when a gold carrier enters a place, when a woman of substance enters a place, they will know that a woman entered it. She's not a nobody. She carries her own substance. We need to learn how to carry our own substance and not just be looking for who will give. I tell young people, marriage is not a career. It's not a job.
Yeah.
Get you a career before you look for marriage, by the way. Get you a job.
If you can.
If you can, but you can always do something. Even if it's not a job, you can. There are a lot of things ladies are doing these days. Women are trading a lot of stuff. You sit on your phone, you are doing business. Do something to fetch money for yourself. You can't depend solely on what amount. That's where a lot of problems start arising, because you have to ask for every little bit of thing. It doesn't matter how much a man has. Make sure you have your own. Make sure you have there are things you want that you can't. I was in a women's conference a few weeks back, and this is what I was telling them. I said, even if I was married to the president of my country, I'll be working my own money. I will have what belongs to me. You need to get what belongs, what you worked for. There are some things you just need to do that he may not have the burden you have. You want to help somebody, you go and beg from somebody to go and help somebody. How can you be, So you must be able to add value to yourself so that you can add value to other people.
Okay.
That's who we are.
So Casey's asking, she says, when do you know the limit to what you can forgive? Because again, I go back to forgiveness. Someone asked something that I saw up on forgiveness. Said, how long should you, Bell asked, how long should you forgive when the same things are being done, even when you communicate your feelings like a perpetual cheat? How long do you forgive in such instances?
70 times, 7 times. Well, that is just as, that's what the Bible says anyway. You have to forgive as many times as possible. That is why you need a backing, you need a godly backing to stand this thing. That's why I tell people, don't marry a prayer point, marry a prayer partner. Okay, because right now you need to put in some prayers. You pray for the person, but you pray for yourself more. Like, God help me, if God can help you to forgive that person. Because there are some healings, there are some things that take a process. It's not going to happen overnight. He might not change overnight. He may keep repeating over and over and over. But like I said, don't be in a situation where your life is being threatened and you are sitting there, because God loves your life more than he loves your marriage. He wants you alive than he wants you dead. So if it's a life threat, watch out. Watch out.
Carry them back. You're out of there. Tessie says, truth is, the work of marriage with kids involved is completely different from that of marriages with no kids. With kids, there is bound to be a great depth of tolerance. Meanwhile, without kids, there is only so much you can take.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true, because now you don't see anything that is binding you together. For the sake of the kids, you are there. Many people have even, lost their lives like that for the sake of kids, by the way. For the sake of kids. And that's why I say, we will go round and round. The Bible says you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. Only the truth can liberate. Only the truth. We can mix it up as much as we want to, but the truth is only the truth will set us free. We need God. There's instances where you cannot be too intelligent. You just need to surrender to God and say, Lord, help me. And if God truly sees your heart and sees that you are ready and willing, you are making efforts, God helps you. God helps. God helps. But if you just abandon or you surrender, now that will be your own decision. But then, we have this supreme, that's why we have God over us. That's why we have God. For me, I always say, when something is above man, check God. Check God.
Yeah, I agree with you until it comes to abuse. Once he has slapped you, not check, just carry a bag because God wants your life. Yeah.
That's right.
I have no tolerance when it comes to abuse, because I am just really fed up with it's becoming a pandemic at this point.
That's true. A pandemic for me.
So I just have no tolerance to that. So forgive until it gets, or when it begins to play with your mental health, when they begin to manipulate you and you start thinking you're going crazy.
That's right.
I think that the limits to me for forgiveness. Just like I said,
I will say this. In addition to that, I'll say it's worth fighting for. Your marriage is worth fighting for, but you can't be the only one fighting. You can't be the only one fighting. If the feeling is mutual, the effect will be equal. If it's a mutual feeling, there'll be an equal effect. So it's not a one-man show. It's not a one-man show. Not one person doing the thing. And then always remember, someone's effort is a reflection of their interest in you. If somebody is making efforts, know that they love you.
They are committed to you.
They are committed. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I will tell people this: the grass isn't greener on the other side. It is green where you water it. Because sometimes when you treat one person bad, you think you're just going to jump out there and get another one. So it is green where you water.
And you say this louder for the men.
Louder.
Yes, and men, not that I'm calling you out, but you are privileged enough to be able to jump from one girl to the other and still marry, you know, and just have as many girls as you want. So please say this louder for the men. Karma is real, although some people seem to escape karma.
Boomerang. There is a boomerang effect. Let me tell you, what goes wrong comes wrong. Life is a seed. I tell people, you sow a seed in your behavior. The way you treat people will come back to you. If it doesn't come back to you today, it will meet you at the gate of your old age when you need people most. Yeah. Mind you, the way you treat people today, because the life you're living today is a seed you are sowing. Sow the right seed, because you will reap it someday, very soon. If you make a woman feel worthless being your wife, you are sowing a wrong seed. If God made you a man, he didn't make you a man so that you become abusive. If you understand who a woman is, that's why I tell people, understand each other, study who the other person is, because when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. You begin to abuse her because you don't understand who she is, how she is made of, how God created her, and what she's meant to do for you. Yeah. She's not a punching bag. A woman is not a punching bag. She's not meant to be beaten. You love boxing, go and get you a punching bag and hang somewhere in your home and be punching. Not a woman, not your wife. That is, it's gross misbehavior, by the way. So it doesn't really even matter what a lady does. Mind you, like I said, the grass isn't greener on the other side. It is green where you water. And there are some two kind of men that were described to me of recent. They talked about the hunter and the gardener. The gardener is meant to take care of this woman, water her, bring her up, nurture her, make her grow and realize her dreams. The hunter is hunt. You know, when an animal hunts, when a hunter hunts an animal, gets the prey, kills the prey. Are you understanding? So the dreams of many women have been killed in the hands of hunters. What kind of a man are you? Are you a hunter or a gardener? A gardener is meant to nurture a woman and build her, take care of her, because God gave her to the man to be taken care of. Yes. So you take of her, you nurture her, and you help her to build her dreams. You don't kill her dreams because you are not a hunter.
I like that. And ladies, check or look within. What kind of man are you married to? Are you married to a hunter or a gardener? I love that. I've learned something new. I've not heard of men described like that. I hope they don't take offense to it. But I think, Emmanuel, this because you were saying, what if women would slap their husbands out of anger? Again, if you love, I just kind of, if you love somebody, why would you want to really like physically hurt the person?
Exactly. You know, violence is not allowed either ways, whether from the man or from the woman. It's not part. It's not even supposed to be part of the deal.
Shouldn't be.
Whoever. Violence is not part of the arrangement. It's not part of the agreement.
No, shouldn't be. So, Mami says, remember, your children do not replace your husband.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Let me talk on this.
Yeah.
Mami, you know, mommies, they always know this thing.
Yes.
I remember I was telling my husband one day, you know, I have two beautiful daughters, and you know, our daughters can be attached to their father.
Yes.
And when we go out for anything, sometimes we travel out together, and there will be all over their dad, and dad is so feeling the kingship, so happy with the thing. So I just looked at him and said, I'm watching you. I'm waiting for you. And when these girls will get married, don't come to me. As I just said that thing, the way he dropped them like it was hot and came back to make amends, because this matter is very serious. They can't replace your wife. The children can't replace you. That's why you need time with your wife, and both of you need time with your kids. Yeah. But two of you are married. each other. Spend time with your husband. I'm going to give this as a tip. Spend time with your husband, spend time with your wife. It is your time, both of you. Find that time. Don't miss it for any reason.
And for us, I mean, and this goes out to you, the guest. What to you is spending time? What does it mean? You know, this me time that we talk about, make time for your partner, make time for your partner, marry your friend. How do you manage that? How do you give me actual examples of things that you do, and knowing our busy schedules out there for us in the West, how do you carve or make out that time to spend time with your husband, not with the children or not as a family, but with your spouse? What do you do? What kind of activities? What does that look like for you in your home? ST is asking, what about men who do not like assets? They feel inferior by such women and even ask them to resign and go for a low income paid job.
Yeah, okay. Men who don't like assets. But that is strange because most of the time I've talked with men that love assets. But now the issue that men have most of the time is respect. Now a man loves respect, and they fear the fact that if there's a lady that is, they feel is more powerful, then it threatens their respect. It threatens their respect. It's not like they don't like assets. It's not about, there's nobody that doesn't like, what do you mean I don't like assets? Because we all need it. Don't we need it? There are things that are needs.
Mm-hmm.
Needs. We need them, and everybody needs an improvement of life. There's a time maybe you were paying for your apartment, but there's a time you want to own your own apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Who wouldn't like that? Who wouldn't like that?
Exactly.
So, but most of the time, the problem here is respect. And like I say, women are loaded with gifts and talents. They have the ability to get out of a man whatever thing they want. It's just how to go about, the way you go about it, the way you present yourself. Because if you start threatening the man's respect with a little, you allow the asset or whatever thing you are having to take a kingship over your home. You give power to the money. You give power to the asset. It threatens the man. It's not like a man wouldn't like asset. So you must give him his place, no matter how much money you have. You may be as influential out there as a woman, a career woman with a big title. But when you come back home, you are your husband's wife. At home, you are his wife.
Yeah.
You need to at least be able to understand the difference here. There is somebody here. You have a boss out there, maybe, or you are the boss in your office, and everybody bows to you. There is somewhere where somebody has to, you have to come. If I say bow, some people will be like, why bow? But then, if I look at the way Nigerians, the greet, when I see the Yoruba people, when they meet somebody, they just lie prostrate. And that thing works magic. It works magic for them. It's their culture. In our own way, there's a way you will bow to him as he respect him, as he just check, honey, have you eaten? Honey, what can I do for you? You are at his service. You are doing something that shows that you give him reverence as a head of your home.
Yeah, especially like you said, a man is his ego. A man is his ego. You really need to understand the natural primal nature of man. It is his ego.
Right.
And if you do understand that, then you know that, especially for us in the West who are in environments where there is no respect. You understand? In Cameroon, you are a small child, and there is patron
everywhere.
Your name, John, Michael. Yeah, come on. There's no Mr. This, so there's no form of respect. And I think a lot of the times, where they can get it is at home. Not that we should go calling our husbands Mr. John or Mr. Smith, but
exactly
what I mean. Give him
find your own name.
Yeah, but just give him something to feel that which is his primal nature. I think so. I agree with you on that. And I do saying that we go bashing men again. No, we are not bashing men. In that instance, I was talking about in our communities, in our society, men can date as many women as possible, but they will still. It's a fact. They will still get married. It is a fact. Another girl does it, and she becomes an apara, and that's the end of her.
Exactly.
Girls are stigmatized. It is what it is. It is not because of So there's a question which I want to read. Oh gosh. Okay, I think I missed it. I don't know if it's B. Muma says there's physical and emotional punching, both are just as bad. Move from it. So I asked the question, what does that spending time with your spouse, what is it to you? What are some of the activities that you do so that we can share, so that some of us can learn or copy? And
Okay.
Lovely,
Yeah,
go out on dates. Date night is
that's
very important.
beautiful.
Take
Take
vacations,
vacations.
holidays. Oh God,
We have great guests on board. Eh?
yeah.
I can see Loveline is pumping the thing. That's my sister, and she's a pastor's wife. She's
Oh,
watching from Dallas. She's watching from Dallas.
oh, hi.
Casey is my daughter, and they're all pumping.
Oh, wow,
I'm so
okay.
happy to have all of them on board. Casey is watching from Buckingham.
That's good. Hi, Casey. I love you. So if
Yes.
plus is
So,
sports together.
go out for sports together. That is what I do most of the time. And you know, the days I'm not going out for sports, or we are not going out, we schedule our sports to do it together most of the time. So we spend time during sports talking our own things, talking about ourselves. And the days we're not going out for sports, after our family, normally we have family morning devotion every morning. So just immediately after morning devotion, we spend time again in the sitting room, just chatting, just conversing, just talking about ourselves. You know, that's the hour that works. That's the hour that works for us,
for you guys.
because I am an entrepreneur. I am my own boss. He is his own boss as well. So we can shape that in the mornings. And then we start leaving the house sometimes around 10, 10:30, 11. You know, because by the time he comes back in the evening, most of the time, he's so exhausted, he's burnt. You know, he just passes out while watching TV. So I can't count on him in the evenings, but in the mornings we catch up. For some people, they can use the evening hours. It might be evening hours and things like that. And sometimes just check on each other on phone, like, hey, how's your day going? I really miss you. Send videos. I used to, when I travel, I will make videos of myself doing things, dancing, and I send to him. And, you know, just occupy him. Find ways to occupy his mind with yourself. Occupy each other.
People are really playing love. Oh. That's good. That's very good. Clementine says, I always say, find that common denominator between you two. Ours is dancing, exercising, watching movies. We spend more time arguing that we can't see what we have in common.
Very true. Very true. Very true. And then sometimes you have to just succumb to the other person's. Like, my husband loves movie. I never love movie. I love dancing. So now he has to join me time and again to dance. And I have to join him sometimes to watch movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we are both enjoying. We give, we share the, you know, we share the fun.
Your passions together. Shanti says, not every Saturday out for coffee, or find a common activity, which is what Clementine is saying. Find a common activity, put it on the calendar, and be consistent. Have someone babysit the kids. Pay for a babysitter if you need to. It is worth it. That date with your spouse will keep your marriage alive. Because the truth is, love sometimes dies in the marriage, and what you have left is that.
That's right. Love dies, and like I was saying, you know, like in your part of the world, the western part of the world where you guys are right now, sometimes it's difficult to find who you can have leave your kids with, but you can always arrange with a family friend or a good close friend, even if it is once a month. A good friend that knows what it is, a friend who will be maybe a married or a relative, a relation of yours. You can be able to sacrifice a day with your kids, even if it means paying, like someone mentioned, pay and spend time, the two of you. Sometimes we allow kids to just take over so much so that we don't even, you don't get to know each other. I learned about the divorce rate in China during this lockdown, because people were married to people they didn't know. They would leave in the morning and go and only come in the night, drink soup and sleep. you
Yeah.
know, and then they will have lunch at their different job sites, and they only meet in the evening. And so people really didn't know those they were married to. But when this lockdown came, that's when people knew the reality. Divorce. I heard that the divorce rate was high. So it's good to know your person. It's good to understand each other, know their needs, because, like I said, sometimes the needs too are unique. People have different needs. People have other things they love to do. They have
And
different ways.
there's something that I read which I think that I have taken on board. This person said that at every stage, so when depending on how long you've been in your marriage, you are growing as an individual, and your
That's
partner is
right.
growing as well as an individual. And so the person you met at 30 is not the person you are with at 40. And so it is very important for you to take time to understand the growth that you both have been with and stop living in the past. So don't
Correct.
that boy that you met at 30, at 35, and at 38 is the same man or woman you're with at the age of 40, or at whatever point you are in a relationship. Just always have these what would I call it, like self checks, with you
Mm-hmm.
and your spouse, just to find out where you guys are intellectually, especially emotionally at at that time in your marriage, and how just always checking so that you can grow and understand each other's growth. Don't expect that when I met him, he was so lovely to me. I don't know what happened. He grew. You grew.
You grew.
Yeah.
And talking about those checks, Goretti, you know, there were things you did from the beginning to win the man's heart or the lady's heart. There
Yeah.
were things you did and got into the marriage. Why in there? Don't stop doing those things, because what got you there will keep you there. You
Yeah.
did some things and you both admire each other for those things.
Yeah.
Don't let them, don't drop them, you know. And
Yeah.
another somebody said, he said a successful relationship requires falling in love multiple times, but
Yes.
always with the same person. Fall in
Yeah.
love over and over with the same person. You need to
Yes.
keep doing it. Remember
Yes.
the first day, remember the first love. One of the things we do is we remember the first day we met and we'll keep talking about it. Oh, you
Always.
remember this day? You remember this day you picked me up, you dropped me here? This is the color. I still remember the color of shirt he was wearing on our first date, and
Yes.
we'll talk about it and talk about it, and it gives us fun. It takes us back to that first love.
Yeah.
Remember the good things and
Yeah.
enjoy them, the good moments.
I believe I agree with you. I love that. But let's talk about quite a few people have mentioned it in the comments, and I know it's almost 9:30 now, so we can talk about it. Hopefully, children are in bed. Let's talk about the place of sex in marriages, because
Okay.
we are raised expected to. Nobody talks to us about sex as young girls, as teenagers. When we get married, even when you're getting married, all you're told is that have sex with your husband, but nobody really talks about what it means, and nobody prepares you that as a woman there are more days than not that you will not want to have sex, you understand, than you would.
That's right.
Nobody manages these expectations for you that men are primal like that. They are sex driven. So you come into
Mhm.
marriage, and so let's talk about sex within marriage. My brother said, I know, yeah, mommy, you watch, I don't go.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing you're just from talking. You know, our friends didn't talk about sex to us that much, though. But you know, that's why I said, as much energy as we put in our projects, in our careers, we need to exert part of that to learn about marriage. Now, learning about marriage includes sex. Sex is the intimacy, the intimate part of marriage. In fact, it's a natural, they say the consummation of the marriage. That's the sex.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can't talk about marriage without talking sex. Sex to a man is a need. Is a need.
Yeah.
Is a need. A man needs. He doesn't just want sex. He just needs sex. And so when you understand this, you don't deprive him of his need. But then coming back to this friendship affair, if this person is your friend, you have to understand each other, because a woman might not be in the mood all the time. It's natural. A woman wouldn't be, first of all, her cycle wouldn't even permit her. There are times that you are so badly in need, but she's having some one hormonal change or another and might not be ready. Now, this comes back again. We come back to this issue of sacrifice. There are times you just sacrifice because you know he needs it. It's a need to him. So long as you are not sick, because what should stop it is health issue. If you are not sick, if you are fine, if you are sound, and maybe you are just not hot about it.
Yeah.
That's where sacrifice comes in. Because when you understand that to him, it is more or less a need, you will not withhold and you will not use it like to punish him or whatever. You know, many marriages have been broken because of that. We don't use that as a weapon. It is a man's need, and if he's married to you, it is his right. Give him.
That's why when my mind begs, the gate to Jerusalem is closed.
Anna, thank you. On the other hand, let the guys make it easy. There's this day I told my mom, I said, you know what? You can't be whipping a child with a cane and telling the child to laugh, smile. Hey, smile. You are beating a child, you know, it doesn't work. Make it easy. Make it easy. If you want it, there's a way a man should prepare for that. Prepare the lady for that. It begins, you can take the whole day to start preparing her. Start in the morning, talk nice things to her, send her sweet messages. You don't just come now, hey, like a military officer. Even military officer, when you meet your wife, you are not in a military school right now. You know, you need to mind your way because it's something you walk yourselves into in a nice way. You prepare her mind. You prepare her mind. You talk to her nicely because it has everything to do with it. You can change her mood with just one silly word or one silly action. It will affect her. But then that is also the woman. For the man, he can quarrel with you now. The next minute they need. He's hungry. It's not like because you did this thing, I will not eat. No, when it's time for hunger, don't you eat food when you're hungry? So it's as simple as I see it. That's how I see it. And to me, that is what it means. Sex is a need to the man.
Yeah.
And to
the man should be understanding that.
Should be understanding.
It's not a need for a woman.
Exactly. Thank you. For a woman can go without that, you know. For as long, she will really not, it wouldn't mean as much as it will mean to a man. And so the man should be understanding, don't make things difficult. Make it easy for the woman so that you both can flow. You know?
And enjoy it in the process.
And enjoy it. Enjoy the
process. My mom is watching. Let me shush.
Your mom knows you're a grown up. Mom knows you're a grown up.
Somebody pointed out, what would you say to a couple, because you've said a lot of times that marriage is ordained by God. Marriage is ordained by God, right?
Yeah.
What would you say to a couple that are in a childless marriage and are facing external pressure and societal stigmatization and all of that, but there is love with among or between the couple? What would you advise them? What would you say to the couple?
They're already on a good footing for the fact that they love each other. That is most important. They don't need external validation. They don't need external validation. They should do what they are adults. You are mature, so do what works for you. You cannot accept societal pressures, to push you into some stuff. You should agree as a couple on what to do. There is even a child adoption that a lot of people do these days. Why don't you think of having one? It's true, there will still be societal pressure, but if you want to depend only on what others say, you will never be fulfilled in life because you will hardly satisfy every other person. It is about you as a couple. Think of what you want to do. You can choose to adopt a child and be happy. And you don't tie your happiness to child, to baby. Like I would tell singles, don't tie your happiness to to marriage or to a man, and you say no, you are sad, you are moving around with a moody face and waiting that I'll only be happy the day I find a husband. That your happiness is not attached to a man. It is inside, right inside of you. Make yourself happy. There are other things that can make you happy. Build your own joy. Walk your joy out. You know,
And
like the Bible says, walk your salvation with fear and trembling. Walk your joy by yourself. You can't let your joy to depend on people, on how people feel or what people say about you, because people will always say, but you can't depend on people's opinion all the time.
And I'll flip it to say, what about a young man or woman who marries a partner and finds out that for some reason they can't have children? Is it the same thing?
They find out.
Right?
No.
So you love your partner and then you find out within the marriage. So this is not something that you knew before you got married.
Before you got married.
Is it the same advice? What advice will you give?
Well, it just depends on what you guys feel for each other.
Yeah.
If both of you are okay with that, because it might be very offensive if it was something you were really hiding from the other person, and the person might not be able to deal with. But then I go back to saying that marriage is for mature people, and maturity warrants that there's tolerance in it. There are things you do. I will still come to this word that I don't like very much: sacrifice. There are some things you sacrifice for love, for love's sake. Do you really love this guy? You want to be with him? Don't let one fault of his break that relationship.
Thank you. And Angel is asking, when do you know that a marriage is over? Up, down, fight, hope. When do you know that there is no hope?
Only the person that wears a shoe knows where the shoe pinches. Somebody from outside cannot tell you what
It's very true.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's true.
It's the person inside. I've counseled marriages like that. I was talking to a lady, and I was like, okay, I think you can be patient for a while. I think you can keep praying. I think you can treat him this way. I think you can do this, you can do that, you can do that. One day, and she's been doing all of that, applying everything that needed to apply. And she got up one day and told me, you know what, I'm tired. I am tired. And somebody tells you they are tired, you push them there, and the next day you hear a story, you may start holding yourself, you may be guilty. Like, why didn't I help her? Why didn't I? So you must respect the person's opinion. It's first of all about how the person inside is feeling. If he or she is okay with that situation, you really cannot do much. But if she says, I'm tired, if she says, I can't do it anymore, you have to respect her opinion, because she who wears the shoe knows where the shoe is. We judge people a lot, but they know what they're facing. They know what they are going through.
So, Pastor, will you agree with me that in conclusion, really, marriage is just really very subjective, and just as long as you can, let me not speak for you. Maybe let me ask you to, in your own words, in conclusion, what is marriage? What makes a successful marriage? And with your years of and I know you've said it, with your years as an experience as a marriage counselor, in 3 to 5 minutes, what works? What do you think works more than what doesn't work?
Okay. Thank you very much. This is it. Marriage, like we've said, we can't say suggestive. Marriage is a divine institution, like I said. It is God's whole idea, and it is meant to honor God. Once we are not honoring God with our marriages, we are already setting for disaster. We are heading for maybe permanent endurance, because some people have been enjoying. They are in it. You may see them pictures posting left and right on social media. It's not a guarantee for a good marriage. You know the reality. I say you know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Girls are even posting pictures of people that have even dropped them, just to maybe use the pictures to hurt other people, So a marriage that is not honoring God wouldn't go too far. That is number one. God is the foundation of it all. And having said that, love, like I said, is the main ingredient. Love does not, is unconditional. It doesn't depend on how the other person is. I always tell people marriage is like a bank account. You put in nothing, you get nothing out of it. You go and open the account, yes. But now if you don't start putting money there, you can't just go to withdraw money that you didn't put. That is how marriage is like. You withdraw from it what you have put inside. Two people bring in something. What you are getting out of that marriage is what you put into the marriage. So marriage reflects the two people.
Yeah.
It is not the outside, it's not, a fairy tale. It is what you do with it that makes it work for you. What do you put in? You want love in your marriage? Pour in love. You want respect? Pack respect in there and you'll receive respect back. And like you even mentioned earlier, if you treat your man as a king, he will treat you as a queen, and vice versa. And vice versa, same thing. The man treats you like a queen, that is an automatic king out there. I say women don't find it difficult to submit to a man that shows them love. If a man does what he's meant to do, if a man can show love, a woman will not even struggle. It's just that there are some men that we call men who are still boys. And I always tell young people, boys don't get married. When you are a man who is married, you will know what to do with the woman. Boys, you can find boys at 40, they are still boyish. Boys at 45. So it's not about the age as in number.
Yeah.
Get you a mature man. Get a mature lady. Because that maturity will help you guys to accommodate one another. It's a marriage is a union between two imperfect people, because there is no perfect individual. It is two imperfect people coming together and ready to flow with one another in spite of their imperfections. So to me, marriage is what you guys bring into it. Marriage is what you bring into it.
And there's a final question. I've got as a marriage counselor, if a man comes to you saying he has done all he can and it's still not working, what would be your honest advice to him?
My honest advice to him is there is always something to do. He has done all he can and he's not working because he has not yet done all. He said that he has done all, he has not done all. Many people want to go and start from up, very high up there. When I met my husband, he was carrying books. He was selling books, carrying them on his head. I was selling tea at the roadside. A man that can walk can start from anywhere. Life begins from down, going up. You cannot have done everything. There are still things to do. There are people that ran from, let me talk about our situation, ran from the Northwest region because of war. And they found themselves in Yaoundé selling groundnut to feed their families. They are doing something. Now, if you do minimize everything and you are making unrealistic dreams, maybe you left university and you're like, okay, I'm a graduate, so I can't do this, I can't do that. Begin from something.
No, I think she's talking about marriage.
See,
I think she's talking within a marriage.
Oh, within a marriage. Okay. Yeah. Wow. I just answered a different question right now. Okay.
Yes.
That is in relation to work, because there are ladies that are also ready to get into a marriage with a guy, but the problem is this guy is not finding work to do.
Okay. Yes.
I see. Now you've done everything possible and it is not working for you.
Yeah.
What is everything possible? Have you checked with God? God is the foundation, like I said. Only the truth sets free. Because sometimes when we say we have done everything, we have really not done everything. Because see, okay, and you are looking for somebody to now come and tell you that, no, pack your bags and go. I said this thing is a two-way thing. Grass is not always greener on the other side. Because that thing you are waiting to pack and go, thinking that you will now meet one Mr. Right. Let me tell you, there's
one Mrs. Right. That's what she's asking.
One Mr. Right, one Mrs. Right, vice versa. One lady once said, since you have been waiting for Mr. Right for long, you're not seen, drag me this Mr. Wrong and make him right. But then there is, if there was something that brought you guys together, there was something you admired about him and it brought you together. Can we work on the thing again? Can we look at it from that angle again? Because most of the time, what is happening in marriages is that now once there is a situation, we start looking only at the negatives. We start looking only at the faults. I said this thing before. Sometimes you can go and pick one nice thing that a guy did. Shower him with that nice thing. Keep bringing it up. Keep talking about it, because the more you talk about it, the more it grows. Now, the more you talk about his faults, the more the faults will keep increasing.
Auntie Delphine.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry to interrupt you. I hear you, but there is ground, and I know that your ministry, obviously, you can't encourage divorce, but there's ground for divorce. Yeah. So, but I've heard your advice, and I think, and this is my personal opinion, guys. I see too many relationships where people are miserable, like proper miserable in those marriages, and there's so many reasons why they should stay. Obviously, children or no children, but there's so many reasons why they should stay. But you can truly see that this couple have come to the end of the road, right? They've come to the end of the road together, but they can't leave because of whatever reason. And you see bitter, like you look at them and you know these people are bitter. I think, and I know that marriage is, is ordained by God, and we need to honor God by marriage. But even if it's not necessarily physical abuse, I think be honest to yourself at some point if you think it's not working for you. I shouldn't give that advice because it's my personal opinion, but I've seen way too many miserable homes, too many, where there's no communication is dead. It is dead in so many ways, but they're still hanging in there for children, and you are beginning to see signs of bitterness beginning to come through the cracks. You understand?
Yeah. And I believe that's why we were giving some of the tips, because some of the tips we have given today, maybe some people have tried 1, 2, or 3, and they have not tried another one. Maybe you just have to try it. But one thing is sure, all relationships face challenges. Strong ones survive them. All relationships will face challenges.
Yeah.
But the strong ones will survive. And so what you should be working at is building a strong relationship. Because if you can't build a strong relationship, the least wind will blow it away. If the relationship was standing on sand, rains will blow it away. What is the foundation? What was the basis of that relationship? Anything can take it off. And just like I said, the people involved know exactly what they are going through. You must take responsibility. Like I said, make sure you reach out, because there are some things that you need to actually see a counselor on permanent basis, like somebody who talk to you weekly and follow up your daily activities. What are you doing? What did you do today? What did you speak with him? Because there are some things you may be doing wrong, which you don't know they are wrong. They are killing the relationship. Because there are people that have followed up and they realized themselves and they began to change. And then you will find, but the man is coming around to say, thank you. What did you do to my wife? Thank you. What did you, because there were things that needed a follow-up, like in that manner. So we cannot give general reason for people that you are not better. Yes, I can't bear it. I can't stand it anymore. I can't stand it. That's not enough excuse. What are the things you can't stand? We need more details to that. What are the things you do? You can't just be on a one-day show and you come and trash it. No, you can't work like that. You need to keep putting in efforts. Like I said, it's a continuous fight. It's worth the fight. Fight for it to start.
Auntie Delphine, do you guys have, because I know there's a lot, and from the conversation tonight, I see that you talk to a lot of women. Do you guys have these kind of programs where you guys talk to men as well, young boys and married men? Because I know that our culture puts the onus on the woman to fix it a lot of the times, but is it changing? Are they now talking to the men as well, so that they own up to their own responsibilities or their own CRAP?
That is the challenge we are having for real, Goretti. It's a challenge. It's a present day challenge. First problem we have is, even when you create a men's conference, you still have very few men attending. But women are everywhere. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
They're learning, trying to get the knowledge. That's why I said we all need to learn. A man needs to know how a woman is. A man needs to study some things about relationships, about marriage, about who a man really is. The last men's conference I attended was a powerful men's conference, and the men were speaking some real stuff that we needed men to hear. But I don't know how many men were in attendance. It was a virtual conference. It was so powerful that men were spoken to, you know. And I mean, this is like a new thing coming up that we men, and you know that only men can talk to men.
Yeah.
I mean, men can talk to men. Now you can bring women in, if it's a talk show, to tell them what does a woman expect from a man? What does a woman need from a man? But you can't go teaching men. Men have to teach. There are some that have grown into real men that understand some things that a lot of other men need to learn from. They need to seek those things. They are counselors for men. They are coaches that can coach men. You know, there are coaches that can coach men to be better men. But the challenge we have is we need men to be encouraged. We need them to be, to be fired up to attend such things and to even like get books, buy books and read. But you will see a man who buys books on business, so books about business, about marriage. It's a woman's thing. It looks like it's a woman's thing, so it doesn't really take their attention. And that one puts a woman under a serious, situation. Like in a situationship. It lands women in situationships.
Yeah, and which is unfortunate because, like Bell Sonki said, it takes two to tango, and we always have these opportunities where it's the women we are putting the pressure. We're asking the women to be better because it's a relationship. Ultimately, I don't even know, but thank you. I think personally, I've learned quite a lot of things from you, especially in understanding the natural nature of a man. That has been very helpful for me personally, and a lot of other wonderful things that we've talked about. But Auntie, I'm going to pass. I think on behalf of all of us watching tonight, they pass the baton to you to say, go and wake our young men up and our uncles and our brothers and our fathers up. Because we've spent centuries, years teaching the woman on how to be better. It's time that the men wake up, and join us in this conversation so we can have a better society generally. Really. So I hope that I hope we have passed the button, right, guys? We've passed the button to.
That's right.
And so I will be praying for you, and we'll be here to support you.
Men are coming up. Some men are coming up who are going to do that. They will do it. It's going to happen. Everything has its time. Already, there are some men who are already doing some stuff.
Yeah,
I have a great mentor of mine, Dr. Madison Delphine, who is doing the lead missions. He's doing a great thing for the men. He has the lead men, and these are the type of things they talk about. They bring men to that level of maturity as a man. Builds their own esteem, because men to have their own problems. They have their own situations they're going through, and they can't express it. As a man, there's some things they will just cover because I'm a man. If I say this thing, it will be like I'm weak and so on. So they too are kind of creating, a forum that is going to help, is helping men out there. I believe so much about the impact of that.
This has been great. Thank you so much. We've been here 2 hours. I think it's one of my longest shows. Yeah. And I'm sure we can go on for another hour because people have stayed. People are still watching, and I'm so happy that people didn't drop off. I hope that we have learned. We've taken something from this. The whole point of this was just really awesome, especially listen from someone with so much experience as a relationship counseling as Mr. Fogwe, and we are really, really thankful for your time, and we hope that we can go home and put some of these tips that you're going to share with us to practice. Any final words to your guests who are watching?
Yes. Make sure you give yourself some affirmations every day. Say some things to you. Whether you're a lady or you're a guy, just wake up in the morning and say, I'm good to go. I'll wake up every day in a good mood, say some things, because those things, they help you to build your esteem. They give you the fire to move on in your day. Talk to yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and address yourself. I admire the person you are becoming. You are becoming a great person. Talk some things to you that will make you happy. Your joy is inside of you. It is not in another person. And above all, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And all other things shall be added unto you, including a good marriage, a happy marriage. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to put you backstage now and say goodbye to our guests.
Okay. All right. Just to say goodbye to all of you who were watching us this evening. It was amazing to have you all. It was a wonderful time spent with you guys. Wonderful contributions. A brilliant guest, brilliant audience. Thank you so much for watching us. I believe we're going to have another wonderful opportunity that God will create for us, and we're going to have another time to share. Stay blessed. Go well. God bless you. Bless you. God bless you and your lovely family.
Thank you. I'll talk to you. Yeah.
Sure.
Hi guys. Honestly, I first of all want to thank every single person who has contributed. I know I have not been able to read everyone's comments, but it's been great. If you're watching this, if you're just catching the tail end of it, I encourage you to go back and watch it and read the comments, because in addition to Auntie Delphine's wonderful advices and tips, the members of our other guests as well have really shared, and some have been really honest and opened their hearts, and I think that there are so many things there that we can all learn from. Marriage is I agree with a lot with Auntie Delphine when she says, marriage is ordained by God. Marriage is a good thing. So I'm married, so there's no way, and I know the beauties of being in a marriage, and I know that I would never really encourage. I would always support marriage, because I like marriage. I like being married. I love having a husband that I can count on, someone, a protector, my king. I love that. I love to have that in my home. But I also know that it is not always the case for everyone else. So, and we are all at different points in our marriages. And I know that for some of them, some of these issues can be fixed. For others, it could be the end of the road. But I would say to thine own self, be true. You've only got one life to live. To thine own self, be true. Whichever situation you find yourself in, especially as a married person or a person looking to go into a marriage, if you can stand it, hey. If you can't stand it, hey. But just remember, to thine own self, be true, because it is your life. So thank you guys so much for staying. If you're new here, like I said, thank you. If you haven't already, before you go, please just take a minute and go and like our page. It's the Goretti Experience page on Facebook, and it's the Goretti Experience page as well on YouTube. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel and help us grow this community. And for all of you, my TWE tribe, I appreciate you. I thank you very much. We've been over 2 hours, so you guys are the real MVPs of tonight's show. So thank you very much. And Auntie Delphine is on Facebook as Delphine Mah, M-A-H, Delphine Mah. So if you want to connect, if you're looking for a relationship counselor, she's there. I'm going to put her link again in the resources page, so you can get in touch with her if you need some relationship advice. And on that note, have a good evening, and I'll see you next week, Wednesday. So do enjoy.